It is by far the most overlooked and underplayed love languages in the history of love itself. And it is the number one, at least in my eyes, secret to better relationships. And it has everything to do with our ears. And if you're smart, like I know you are very aware that I am talking about listening well. Listening well, if you did not know, could be the key to unlocking deeper connections in your very own relationship. It's true, active listening or listening with intention is one of the most underplayed love languages in the history of love itself. And that's because I don't think we realize the power of listening to our loved ones and our family, friends, even our children extends beyond just communicating. And that's because we tend to see listening as just something we do. It's like breathing. It's just something that we do without even thinking about it. Believe it or not, many people think of listening as a passive activity, merely waiting for their turn to speak. Just let me say something. I've got so much up here and in here, I just have got to get it out. Just something. And often they even interrupt the speaker just to say what it is they want to say. Been there, done that. I'm not pointing any fingers. However, when we do things like that, we are passively listening, but we're actively waiting. Ooh, that is so good. We're waiting for our turn to speak without even listening to the speaker. And the only way to change this is to understand the difference between active listening and passive listening. Now, there are some key components to active listening that passive listening just does not have. Something that I really like about practicing the art of active listening is it's not just about waiting for our turn to speak in a conversation. It's not just about hearing words, but understanding the complete message, including emotions and intentions. And that's very powerful because when you're talking to the person that you love or the person that you're just smitten over, whenever they're truly listening to you, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel giddy inside, right? And so that key component is often called attentiveness or being attentive to your needs, being fully present in the moment, in the conversation. That makes you feel good, right? Because it lets you know that what you have to say to that person that you love is important. They're giving you their attention, and that makes us feel good. It makes us feel heard and understood. Another key component of active listening is the ability to be empathetic. So to show empathy, understanding, and sharing the feelings of the speaker, of your loved one, of your family member, friend, of your child. It's important. Nonverbal cues are also key when it comes to active listening. So what's your body language like? Are you slumped over, just waiting for them to finish so you can just say something, just something? Are you smiling? Are you making eye contact? Are you nodding? Yeah, I'm nodding like right now to this conversation because it is really awesome and good. So we're nodding. Those are nonverbal cues. And lastly, feedback. Are you able to reflect back on what was said to show that you understand what they were sharing with you? So those are all key components of active listening that passive listening just does not have. However, it's all good to know the difference between the two, but how can active listening transform your very own relationships? Well, first, it builds trust. Just think about it. When you're talking to your loved one, him or her, the person that you're just smitten over, whenever they're listening to you, you feel understood, you feel heard, you feel valuable, you feel valued, right? And so over time, that builds trust. And trust, as we know, is the foundation to any solid, lasting relationship. It also handles conflict resolution like a boss. Now, why is that? Well, because when we're listening with intent, we're listening to really hear and understand what the person is saying. Therefore, it minimizes misunderstandings. And that's very key when it comes to resolving any conflict. So, active listening helps to de escalate conflict by ensuring both parties, your loved one, feels heard, and they feel as though their concerns and your concerns are being acknowledged. It also deepens the connection because active listening allows for deep emotional connections because the person feels valued and respected. And not only do they feel valued and respected, but hopefully you too feel valued and respected. So this is why active listening is one of the most underplayed love languages in the history of love itself. Like I was saying, what are some practical tips to help you practice the art of active listening? Well, the first thing is to be present. Be present in that moment, listening to your loved one, your friend, your family member, your children. Be present, and you do this by minimizing distractions, removing the distractions. So we're not hearing them speak, yet we're on our phones, Facebook, Instagram, X, Pinterest, all of these social media apps designed to take our attention away from the things that are most important in our lives. So be present in that moment. You can also show empathy, and you do this through verbal and nonverbal cues. Remember when I mentioned the posture and nodding, making eye contact? What about your facial expressions? Are they showing happiness, sadness? Are you smiling? Also, are you being patient? Are you remaining silent and waiting for your turn to speak? And a gentle touch takes things a long way, especially with your partner. When you give your partner a gentle touch and you're actively listening to what they're saying, you're letting them know that you hear them. You respect them. You respect what it is that they're telling you. They feel valued, and that's going to up the ante on your relationship. I guarantee it. Another practical tip that you can practice for active listening is you can paraphrase and summarize what they said by demonstrating that you understand. And you do this by restating or summarize what was said to you. It's very powerful, bringing me to a real life story of my own, because I have a lot of real life stories that I love to share. Recently, I went out with a friend, and if you know me, I love Thai food, so we went to Thai. Now, mind you, I hadn't seen her in quite some time. We spoke via text, but we hadn't spoken verbally. And the last time we did talk via text, her text was very short and cold, just cut and dry. And I thought, okay, this isn't like her. And so, of course, here I am thinking, well, did I do something? Or is she upset at me because maybe of something that I said? Just being selfish. And we often tend to do that, draw conclusions that are way in left field without really thinking about what it is outside of ourselves that could be wrong. And so I was just wondering all of these thoughts, and something just said to reach out to her. Let her know that you're available. And that's what I did. And I'm so glad that I did that, because we met for lunch at one of my favorite Thai restaurants. And she just poured her heart out to me. She told me everything that she had been going through, turmoil, chaos, and I was able to sit and actively listen to what it was she was saying. And not only did it make her feel amazing, but it made me feel good in here. Not just because I realized that this had nothing to do with me at all, very selfish of me, and everything to do with her. And at that moment, she needed me more than my ego, my pride. I had to set all of that foolishness aside and really hear what my great friend was saying. And so I was able to practice the art of active listening, and it made a world of difference. We even have some activities set up in the future that I'm so excited about. So when you get time, I want to encourage you to practice the art of listening in your next conversation. It's going to take you a long way. And if you happen to do that, don't forget about your girl. Come back to this video, drop me a comment, and let me know how it went. Okay, so all of that is good. All of that is awesome and valuable. But what are some of the surprising benefits, not just for the speaker, but for you as well? Because active listening is not just a one-way street, my friend. The benefits go both ways. So besides mindfulness and self-regulation and self-listening, or listening to ourselves, the art of active listening offers self-reflection through personal growth. So when we actively listen to what it is someone is saying, it involves feedback, which can be a powerful tool for personal growth. Even if the feedback is not positive feedback, it can still help us identify areas of improvement. It also makes you smarter, so it ups the ante on your emotional intelligence, and that is always something that we want here on this channel. So regular practice of actively listening increases your capacity for empathy. And remember, I mentioned empathy before. When you actively listen to the speaker, your loved one, your friends, your family, you're increasing your capacity for empathy, a key component of emotional intelligence. That's how it makes you smarter. And it also helps challenge your perspective, because listening to various viewpoints, not just our own, challenge our beliefs. And this leads to a deeper understanding of our values, altering them to align more with our true, authentic self. Because that's the key to a good life, is to be your true and authentic self. It also builds respect and trust, because you're demonstrating respect for others, which in turn builds trust and respect for yourself. And it makes a long-term impact, because active listening can lead to more fulfilling relationships and personal satisfaction. And that's simply because it is the most underplayed love languages in the history of love itself. Again, I'm author Katie Gates, and this is the place where I help women like you and me become the best people that we can be. If that is your thing, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, and drop me a comment. Let me know how the art of active listening has impacted your relationships. I would love to know. Again, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you. And until next time, bye-bye.